brought to you by ExpressCare Health and Skin Center. Get in, get out, get better.
Half a day and welcome back to Healthy Living. Flu season is upon us, and many of you are still wondering if the flu shot is needed and if it's safe. And joining me now with all the information is ExpressCare's Dr. Jitka Lom.
Hi, Jolene.
Welcome, Doc.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's flu season, and many of us don't really know the difference between flu and the common cold. So can you share with us what is the flu and its symptoms?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, influenza, that's the long name for the flu, is a viral illness. So is the common cold. But it's a different virus that causes the flu, obviously, and the symptoms are much more severe for most people. You know, the common cold might last 3-4 days with a runny nose, a sore throat, maybe a low-grade temperature. But the flu includes things like high fever, chills, shaking chills, okay? When the body aches, that's a very, very common symptom, headache. You can still have a sore throat, certainly coughing, stomach ache, vomiting, diarrhea. Basically, the whole body is affected with influenza, and it tends to last between 7 and 10 days for most people. It's a much more severe illness in that the frail, meaning very young children, the elderly, and other people who have chronic illnesses can actually die of it, whereas nobody has thankfully ever died of the common cold.
Yes, yes. All right, now the flu vaccine is out there. Now, do I really need the flu vaccine? Because there's times where I've heard people say, oh yeah, I got the flu shot and then I got sick.
Right. So nothing's perfect. So the studies show this. If you get a flu shot, you have somewhere between a 60 and a 70% on average annual chance of becoming immune to those 3 strains of flu. There are dozens and dozens of strains of flu virus, and there are subtypes. And if you're immune to one, it does not mean that you're immune to the rest of them. So every year, they concoct a new flu vaccine that tends to target the subtypes and the types of flu that are going to be very active that year that they predict. That's hard to do. So even if you do get that flu shot, you're protected only against those 3 types of flu virus. So you can still get other kinds of flu, but the 3 most common ones you'll be protected against about 70%. So it's definitely not something that is foolproof or perfect, but it's something that will help people hopefully stay well in the community.
All right. Now, I have a young child.
Yes.
He's about 8 months old right now.
Yes.
And you know, you said that the flu really affects those who are younger or
Yes. frailer.
And so at what age can a person get the flu shot?
Right. So there are infant and sort of flu shots for babies, which anywhere from the age of 6 months up, they can have a flu vaccine. And then from the age 4 and up is the regular vaccine that's available for adults and young people.
Oh, okay. So how often do we need to get the flu shot?
Well, every year the flu virus pattern changes. So every year they have a new updated vaccine, and the national guidelines do recommend that you get one every year around this time in the fall.
Okay. Now, there are people with allergies out there. Now, is it possible to have an allergic reaction to the flu shot?
It is possible. Certainly everything is possible, and that is one thing that can happen. It's quite unlikely. When you get the flu shot, they'll ask you a few questions, whether you're allergic to rubber, or latex, whether you're allergic to a preservative called thimerosal, which is no longer present in the single dose flu vaccinations that we have. They'll ask you about allergy to eggs and neomycin. These are 4 different things that people, if they have allergy to that, they might have a reaction to the flu shot. But most people don't have any reaction at all except for a sore arm, maybe a mild headache, maybe a feeling of fatigue for a day or 2. You can't actually get the flu from the flu shot because it's an inactivated virus, meaning it's not live. It cannot, you know, create this illness in you, but it can create an immune system reaction that can make you feel a little bit unwell for a day or 2.
Okay. Now, if I get the, or can I get the flu vaccine if I'm pregnant? So what kind, who shouldn't get it,
Yes,
basically?
who shouldn't get it? Well, only the people with allergies shouldn't get it, or somebody who's had this strange neurological illness called Guillain-Barré. That's a rare thing. But pregnant people should have the flu vaccine, again, because their immune system's a little bit weaker during that time, and we want to keep them and their babies safe.
Okay, so you recommend the flu shot for everyone?
Pretty much everybody, again, following national guidelines, over the age of 50, anybody who has a chronic illness like diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, the very young, the elderly, and in between that, anybody who's living with those people. So that pretty much takes care of most of the island.
All right, thank you, Dot.
You're welcome.
Well, sit tight, because when Healthy Living returns, we take your questions.